What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me, but I just got home off of an early morning flight, right? First thing through the door, I want to see my family. I love my family. You know, I'm a family man. I'm an advocate for families, right? Second thing, I got to get that hot shower because I got to throw the threads on. The threads make me feel like $1,000,000, but the third thing through my mind and all throughout the trip is that I gotta have that Tiege pack. Tiege makes my life uncomplicated. It's uncomplicated skincare for men. The first way that I started specifically was their level 1 system. It's a daily face wash to get rid of the dirt and grime on your skin. 2 times per week exfoliating scrub to get rid of the dead skin cells. An AM moisturizer with SPF 20 because you should always be protecting your skin from the sun, and a PM moisturizer to help your skin stay hydrated and healthy throughout the night. Here's the thing. My favorite part about Tiege Hanley is that every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. They really making the process of achieving and maintaining amazing skin for men uncomplicated. In addition to amazing skin, members of Tiege Hanley get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off the retail price, the ability to customize your box, exclusive monthly deals, you can pause and cancel at any time, and you get free shipping. And because Tiege Hanley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers an amazing deal, right? Just click the first link in the description and you get 30% off your first box, plus a free gift. It's an amazing deal. You got to get started today. You're not out here trying to look like a dusty. And if you travel as much as I do, which I'm sure most people don't, but you know me, I'm pushing my bag chasers in order to be in the top 5%, top 10%, top 1%. We got to make our lives uncomplicated, and Tiege Hanley is no better product. You got to look good. You got to smell good. And you can't be looking like a dusty. Make sure you get started today. Click the link in the description. Get that Tiege pack. Feel the Tiege, my friends. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Welcome to another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I am your host, Anton Daniels, and I'm excited. Very, 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 very excited to be before you today. Life is good, ain't it? It's even better now that we had, what's her name? Ashleigh Merchant? Something like that. We gonna get there. We got after hours tonight. We got all good energy every single day. Good energy. I was on my way into the office this morning because I stayed out at the other place out in the suburbs. I didn't stay at the penthouse last night, and it's something about staying out in the suburbs, I'm going to tell you. For whatever reason, when I stay out in the suburbs, I get my toenails clipped. I get my feet massaged. I get all of that. Yeah. So we in a good spot. I'm very excited. Again, we got after hours tonight. I think it's going to be a crazy show tonight. I got some beautiful stuff lined up, especially for Fi Brown. I don't even know if Fi Brown is in here yet. Hey, can I get a general idea of how y'all feeling inside of the chat? What up, Trini Life? My dog Kojak, true to myself, Emperor, Azriel, I see you, baby. Can I just get a general idea of how y'all feeling in the chat today? What's your general sentiment? One word, just one word before we get started with the show. What up, Ash? Kicking it with a chef. You said by who? By who? Who else? Global chef in the building. Messi. What up, Messi? Inspired, straight, happy, blessed, here moderating the Zoom. Okay, blessed, reinvested, hungry, dominate, wonderful, unstoppable, strong. I don't like that grimy. Chill, blessed, marvelous, connected, inspired, feeling good. What up, C? Amazing, inspired, overwhelmed, focused, sleepy. I like that. Overwhelmed. What up, what up? Nicole is in the building. Vanessa, I see you. What up, Doc? Dr. Cloud in the building. David said he losing weight. I see you, baby. I see you. I see you, sweetie, baby. Crashing out, crashing out. Vacation, grateful, working, positive, suburb. Chapter 7, bankruptcy. Woo, rebuke bankruptcy. Humble, good, handy. Love C said, don't be a YouTube freeloader. Hit a like for the YouTube algorithm. Rich in life. Hey, brother, grinding, accomplished, doubtful, intentional. Charles Pride, you know what the word is? Chasing, bag chasing. I get there. Just wondering if I'm slacking because I don't do that often for my husband and his feet. Yeah, you are slacking. Kicking it with a chef. And let me tell you something, baby. You slacking. For all of the ladies, listen, you know how I know that y'all slacking, women? You know how I know y'all slacking? Because every time, and y'all got to imagine, if I get my feet done and I get my back rubbed and I be getting fed on the live stream sometimes, imagine what be happening off the live stream. If y'all are out here, and when I'm on a live stream, this is how I know that women are slacking today. Y'all want me to tell y'all how? And then we're going to get into the show because we got a lot to cover. I know that women are slacking because, what's up, Resurrect? I know that women are slacking because when I get on a live stream, a lot of guys, including guys that I know is married because I know my people. Quentin, hear me out, big dog. Listen, hear me out, Quentin. Shout out to Quentin. I know my people, right? So I know who's who most of the time. And when we get a new person, we always say, hey, welcome to the show and all of that. And so I'll be getting fed or I'll be getting my feet rubbed or behind the scenes, I'm talking, but then if you look down, you can actually see I got my feet getting massaged or something like that, right? And sometimes y'all notice it and sometimes y'all don't. But when y'all notice it, y'all be like, man, look at they Taylor. Man, Anton, you picked the right one. That's how I know that y'all slacking. Because all of the guys be like, man, that's crazy. I can't believe it. For me, until I got on the internet, this was just the norm. I thought that you were supposed to get your feet massaged. I thought that she was naturally be looking at you and be like, oh, let me clip your toenails and let me rub them. Because I don't just get my toenails clipped. You know what I'm saying? And I don't ask for it. She just noticed it. And she'd be like, give me your feet. So I give her my feet. She clip my toenails. She makes sure that she rub them down. She go and get some oils and stuff like that. And when she just eating and she got dessert, she usually get enough or she'll split it up and be like, here. And then she just start feeding you. I thought that that's what you were supposed to get. I thought that was what was supposed to be normal. Oh, I'm sorry. Y'all got some independent women, right? See, that's the difference, Michael Anderson. You said your wife do whatever you ask. I don't have to ask. Sometimes I don't know what needs to be done until she just started doing it. See, that's the difference. You got to figure out what you want. The difference is that you trying to figure out what you want. I'm just existing and then they figuring it out for me. It's mine to turn down. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times y'all get caught up in life and y'all just be busy and you don't be doing things or whatever. I'm different. It's different from me. And here's the other side of it. I make sure that the people around me is taken care of. They just automatically already scheduled for a massage. Hey, listen, did you check your calendar today? No, I ain't checked my calendar today. Listen, I got you set up for a massage. I know I was talking to you the other day and you was telling me you ain't have nothing up for the day. So, make sure you get some rest tonight so that you can be well rested so you can go and get your massage. They just come in, they get stuff delivered. Flowers get delivered. I hear what they need. I know what you need before you need it. I know what your sentiment is. You see what I'm saying? She trying to be humble. Hey, I just booked a trip. I'm going to go and visit such and such over in Tampa. I called my people. Hey, make sure that flight is first class. And then if you can, move some stuff around in order. I'm going to make sure that you're good. See, everything is reciprocated. And that's the thing. When you really living in your purpose and you understand how things are supposed to be, you don't have to ask no more. It just happens because you in tune with what people need around you. And it's not just wife or daughter or any of that. It's also employees, friends, family. We just make sure that things is taken care of. And so that's how I know that y'all slipping. I know that you slipping. I know you ain't doing what you supposed to do because you busy. You busy. You busy. But neither here nor there. Let me make sure that I get into the chat. I want to acknowledge some people that support the show before we get started. We got some consistent cash appers. I'm like, what the heck is going on out in these streets? First and foremost, I want to say shout out to Mike, that dude. Shout out to Mike, that dude. I appreciate you. Michael said for the best morning show. Thank you for the fireball, big dog. It is absolutely appreciated. Gavin Turner says, for God won't let you stop being spiritual, you're needed. Thank you, Gavin. Thank you, Gavin. Also, for Wade and Fani saved us Gorilla Grip in his phone. That was from last night. Shout out to you. Sandra Brooks, I appreciate you. Thank you, Sandra says, for showing love for the show. So glad that I found you. Thank you, Sandra. Psychedelic Sense, I appreciate you also. And then Daryl Pullins, absolutely love you. Let me acknowledge a few of the super chats before we get started with the show because we're going to have an interesting show today. Ashy Knuckles says, I got this 10 bag for you. Yeah, take 5 back. Go get you some lotion. I want your knuckles to be ashy. Messy, shout out to Messy. My ladies are so beautiful. Got an entire attitude today. Paid off another credit card. Took a huge chunk out of my taco fund, but I'm going to be debt-free and disciplined in 2000. Hey, don't be messy. Don't be messy. Don't be mad. Be messy. Hey, can we get a round of applause for the chasers that's paying off their credit cards and taking care of business? Forcing ourselves to do the right thing. Shout out to Messy. I love you, girl. I love you. Nikita, what up? What up, Kiki? Do you love me? Shout out to Nikita says, sending love and positive vibes to everyone. Shout out to Kiki. I love you, Doc. I got to have you back on the show soon. I got some things that I want to ask you. Kicking it with a chef is in the building, says, I appreciate you, chef. I appreciate you, chef. Pookie's friend Ray Ray is in the building, says, my girl don't take care of me now that the migrants jack my truck up. Hopefully Fanny's willing to. Oh, Fanny getting the bag. We gonna talk about that. Shout out to Pookie. McCall, what up, McCall? How you doing, baby? Says prayers for myself and a hubby. We've been working on reconciling, spending time, being friends again, and doing the work. I took time away with God, work on myself, not point fingers, and appreciate your monologues. Look at McCall. Look, hey, don't tell me that we don't got no great ladies. Look at her focusing on herself in order to fix her situation instead of having and pointing the fingers at somebody else. She ain't doing none of that. She said, listen, Anton, I got you. I'm hearing what you're saying, and we're going to make the adjustments. Can I give another round of applause for the ladies that's fixing their relationships? Slan Sells Cars says, good morning to the Chasers. Shout out to Slan. Make sure y'all go and visit Slan Sells Cars over in Sacramento. Go and get your bag. Trini Life says, blessings to you, Anton, and your family. You an inspiration. Thank you, Trini. I appreciate you also. My dog, Chris, with the new logo says, good morning and salute to the Chasers. Shout out to Chris. Yeah. Y'all ready to get started with the show? First, I want to acknowledge Tiege Hanley. 30% off your entire order. I'm going to have to shoot a new Tiege Hanley commercial because I got some new gifts that I got to go over. Y'all got to get that Tiege. The link is in the March description. The March link is in the description. Okay. Make sure you get the Tiege Hanley, 30% off your first order plus a free gift. Also, on top of that, if you're not a chaser, if you're not a Patreon member, if you did not watch the video from yesterday that I uploaded that basically broke down how it is that we operate from a business perspective as far as making sure that we capitalize what the current market is doing with Stock Club. We did a Stock Club yesterday. It was awesome. Make sure y'all check out Stock Club. Make sure you join the Patreon. The best day to join the Patreon is the beginning of the month, and it's not too late. Make sure you align yourself with a group of people that's going in the direction that you're going in. We also have a live stream that is happening in the Discord. The link to the Discord is in the description of any of the most recent videos. The Patreon, make sure y'all get that. Rock out and run it up. Couple more super chats. J-Dub. Dubs is in the building. J Dubs says blessings, bro. Thanks to your interview like a king video in the Patreon, that is, I'm about to secure a role with an engineering firm at 205. That's $205,000 a year. Is there a video explaining the ESOP and the ESPP programs? I appreciate you. Well, I can get that up for you because I definitely want to make sure that y'all maximizing y'all compensation when it comes to negotiation, or just maximizing your compensation based off of what's already established at the places that y'all getting these big jobs at. Listen, we don't just talk about investing. We don't just talk about real estate. We don't just talk about how much money I'm making, looking at the receipts, all of that stuff. We also give you practical information that allows for you to be able to level up in corporate America, level up in your business, the whole 9 yards. So, chasers, can y'all get a round of applause to y'all brother, y'all bag chasing brother J Dubs? Listen, we give y'all more information because we actually live it. We actually live it. Shout out to J Dubs. Congratulations, my friend. And I will get you that information on the savings plans, the earnings, all of that, investing your money to 10 to 20%. Employee stock purchase plans. That's what it's called. The employee stock purchase plan, where you can leverage that. You usually get a discount, and then you can leverage that and continue to make more money. We gonna get in all of that. We getting there. We got to get there. We got to make sure that the people is on the same page as us, though. You know what I'm saying? P. Shank, what up? What up, Shank? Good morning, Anton. Good morning to you, P. Shank. What's up, baby? Hey, y'all ready to get into the show? I got so many things that I want to say. Maybe I'll just save them all for after hours. Maybe I'll save my thoughts for after hours. You see how giddy I am, how I'm bouncing up and down? I got my hot chocolate right here. No caffeine. Let's get into the show. Before we get into Fani Willis, these dirty, funky politicians. Dirty. Hey, get Messi need a round of applause too. $2,119. Don't be salty, because every month that money goes into your pocket now. These dirty politicians. Before we get into it, we got to go down to Florida. So we're not going to be holding down Chicago today. There will be no Chicago slander in the chat today. And it's not because, what up, sister? What up, sister? There will be no Chicago slander. Let me get this popping. Nope, I don't even want to talk about that yet. Let's go here. There will be no Chicago slander in the chat today. No. Zero. We love our brothers and sisters over there in Chicago. We don't like what the politicians is doing, but we got bigger fish to fry today. And the first place that we going to start is Florida. That good old Florida. I heard DeSantis is over there on Miami Beach stopping y'all from having fun. Good. I'm tired of women getting pregnant while they drunk on spring break and then going to come back talking about, I need me a good man. I'm coming back off of spring break. I'm pregnant and I'm keeping it and I need me a step-baby daddy because I don't even know who the daddy of my child is. I heard DeSantis is over there stopping y'all from getting pregnant on Miami Beach. But, we're not talking about Miami Beach spring breakers today. That was the other day. We're not talking about Chicago today. That's probably going to be tomorrow. We know that Chicago not going to stay out of the news that long, so we'll get there. But let me go over to Florida. Did you know that Florida just had a record human trafficking bust that spanned across multiple different counties? Teachers, police officers, preachers, school crossing guards. Yeah, y'all over there a mess in Florida. Shout out to the sheriff doing great things over in Florida. Look at me. I'm just hitting the wrong thing all day long. But we going to get there. Shout out to Florida. Let me bring y'all up to speed of what's happening down in Florida, y'all.
Well, Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd joins us now. Sheriff, good work on all this. How did you get started on this whole investigation?
Thank you, Elizabeth. My detectives, who are the very best, worked with the local police detectives And we all do these operations over and over and over again. So it's no secret to anyone in this county. Of the 228 arrested, only 42 were from this county, and they obviously live under a rock because we arrest many people. We were shocked. We had school teachers, we had coaches, we had a former detention deputy, and you see that we had victims that came to this country illegally. They were indentured to human traffickers. In order to pay their way, they had to forward $3,000 a piece every Friday to their pimp or their trafficker.
Can we stop there for a minute? Can we stop there for a minute? Between 200 and 300 people that was a part of a network of people that was basically, listen. This migrant crisis, this thing is bigger than just, they just walking into the country. No, it's big money. Listen, why y'all think that we cover the migrant crisis and it's so pertinent to us? Why it's so important for us to solve for what is happening now? I have a theory, but I can't say it. Even if I could prove it, it wouldn't be pertinent for me to do so because I want to make sure that I don't cross the line too much and upsetting the powers that be. You know what I'm saying? If you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying. However, what I'm telling you is that, listen, this thing that we talking about, this is way more than, oh my God, they're crossing our borders and they're just trying to displace us. That man said these people had to fork over $3,000 a week to whomever it is that's pimping them out, which this is an entire spider web and network of people that is basically finessing these people over here in the United States of America. And this is happening in cities everywhere. Listen, a lot of times we be knowing and we be seeing it right in front of our eyes and we just walk right past it because y'all keep saying, mind your business. Nah, it's somebody over there that's getting finessed. Yes, over 200 plus people, teachers, all of this stuff. It's happening. It's happening right before your eyes.
You mentioned you had a school teacher, a coach. What were these people doing or accused of doing?
They were all soliciting prostitutes. In fact, we had 2 from the Air Force and 1 who was going to join the Air Force. We had 2 or 3 coaches and a teacher. We had a former detention deputy. And that was just the tip of the iceberg. Those people should know better.
Yeah.
They are public servants, but they got caught up and they got arrested.
How do these women fall victim to this kind of sex trafficking? Those women from Venezuela who we just saw in that hotel room, that you say they're being forced to pay up $3,000 a week, which is a huge sum of money for these folks. Were these people?
It's a huge sum of money for everybody. That's $12,000 a month. What you mean? Listen, when we getting all of these people and y'all keep seeing these people at the border, think about it. Y'all keep seeing all of these people and they be at the border. And we look at them and we look at these reports because we see them all the time, right? And we see them and we say, oh man, that's crazy. How come it's only men that's at the border? Have y'all, come on, man. Come on. The U.S. does not have the resources to stop human trafficking, is what Eric says. I know, because I think that there's a lot of people that's a part of the network that's actually benefiting from it. It's not that they don't have the resources to stop it. It's that they don't have they're not trying to stop it because they're the one that's absorbing all of the resources. Can I get an amen? We look at the border and we be like, man, they sending all of their men over here. It's only men. What you think that happened with the women? What you think that happened with the women? So we got $60 billion to be able to send over to Ukraine on a monthly basis, but we ain't got no resources to be able to stop people from getting bussed down. Okay. Maybe we want to stop the gun trafficking too, right? We want to stop that? No worries.
They bring them here from Venezuela, and that's why they're in their debt?
Exactly, Elizabeth. They brought them over, and this is part of what they charged them. And they landed, when they came into the country, they were given some kind of documentation which allowed them to get on an airplane and fly free. The government paid for it, of course. They flew and were operating out of Yonkers, New York. The lead that we have on the human trafficker is that it's an illegal female Dominican in the South Florida area. So she would arrange and set up their meets, and then they would fly to the various areas. So our nearest large airport is the Tampa airport, about 30 minutes away. The three of the ladies flew in, plus the handler, which is to watch them and make sure that they work. Now, here's what's interesting. They told us this. We haven't verified it yet, but they said every time they flew, they presented those documents and flew for free. So we said, are you kidding us? So the federal government flew you to Tampa to have sex, to
The federal government flew you over to Tampa? Hold on, wait. This is the sheriff talking. This is not my opinion. This is not me supposedly saying stuff, insinuating, allegedly. This is the sheriff in Florida that is telling you that the federal government is flying these people back and forth for free. If it's a lie, then he told it. If it's a lie, then he told it. He said, wait a minute. So y'all talking to me and y'all telling me that the freaking federal government, don't tell me about the money that they have to stop it. Tell me about the money that's going in to fund it. Let me say it again. These is regular airports. Don't tell me about what the money is to stop it. Eric Daniels, you cannot be living this far under a rock to where you literally just taking everything at face value. Eric, you can't be living this far under a rock. You can't be. You can't be. No, you can't be living this far under a rock. Forget stopping it. Forget putting up the money to stop it. How about funding it? That's what he's saying.
Work, and we just can't believe it. So it's not just a one-way ticket. Apparently, they're able to fly several ways.
Wait, what is this documentation? I'm still confused as to what they're producing to get a free airline ticket.
Whenever they come into the country illegally and they register as
on the app, on the Border Patrol app?
Yeah, yes, it would be DHS.
We're going to get to that app later on in the show. Don't worry.
Are given a document so they can get on an aircraft without identification, without a driver's license, without the proper documentation that the rest of us have to have, and they're allowed to fly to, i.e., New York, and that's what happened.
Wow.
And then these folks independently during interviews told us they were allowed to fly any place they wanted to. Now, we haven't verified that, or we haven't verified how they worked that out, but they claim they didn't pay to fly. It's like kind of Southwest. You don't make you pay for the bags. You don't have to pay to fly, I guess, if you're illegal.
This is the sheriff that just literally busted 228 people in a human trafficking bust, one of the largest ever. He's telling you out of his own mouth what's happening. Look, we don't live in a space where, well, kind of, sort of, we are censored to an extent, so we got to be careful what we say. But we don't live in a space where you're being that suppressed. I mean, thank God we live in the United States of America, but we don't live in a place where we're so suppressed to where we don't have independent media like me to really have the conversation and break down what's really happening. Quentin, don't lie to me. Don't you lie to me, Quentin. They can go and bust it down for a real one, and it's being funded, according to the sheriff, by the federal government. That's heavy. That's heavy. That's some heavy stuff. Yo, look, man, come on, man. Y'all gonna wake up? Y'all not woke yet? Y'all not waking up? Y'all still sleeping at the wheel? You still fighting me? You still trying to have a conversation with me about how Biden is for black people? Man, Biden ain't thinking about y'all. He ain't thinking about y'all. Oh, Biden is for black people. You don't know that he know and they know about what's happening behind the scenes. So we got the most powerful, dedicated surveillance satellites. Listen, I can't walk down the street wrong. Let me jaywalk. Excuse me, Mr. Daniels. You jaywalked, and we gonna publicly release your records so that the YouTubers and the vloggers can go and react to your content. I can't jaywalk. I can't speed. I can't jaywalk. They gonna already supposedly know what they think is gonna happen before they happen. We got precogs, like the like the movie. I forgot what the movie was where they could do pre-crime. They pre-crime me. They be like, Anton, I know you're getting divorced. Bloggers, please react to it. I'll be like, dang, I ain't know I was even in trouble yet. Pre-crime. But they don't know nothing about what's happening as far as all of the... Listen. Bro, they make me I got to get in the thing. I got to take my shoes off before I go through the scanner. TSA be coming back and forth like, Anton, you got too many watches. Are you trafficking watches out here? Did you meet the threshold for minimizing the amount of money that you're traveling across it? But they just walking through. They ain't even... Minority Report. Shout out to Be More Best. And ABJ's Wise and K Godfather. They Minority reporting me, but they just walking past with fake documents, and that's just cool. And you telling me that they don't know what's going on. Oh, man, the government is crazy. They confused. They confused. They don't know what's going on. It's wild out here. Anton, you got to cut the government some slack. They know that you... they gonna audit you and make sure that they look over all of your taxes and your cash apps to make sure that you reported all your income. But these people is flying down and busting it down for a real one and literally giving over $3,000 a month, a week per person. And then y'all keep asking me, well, Anton, how are these people getting $35,000 in order to fly over and get into the United States of America illegally anyway? How is they getting all of this money? Well, now you're starting to put the pieces together, right? Maybe I don't have to say everything out loud so I ain't looked at as the bad guy. Then y'all can start using y'all context clues to make sense of it. Let's see. Woman, she from Venezuela. She is working feverishly and flying back and forth. Over in Atlanta, they get to go through secret squirrel tunnels in order to be able to go in certain rooms that is unauthorized and is not available to the public. That's a coincidence. And in Boston, whoa, that's crazy. Hey, what's happening over there at the border where they crossing? How come there's so many women busting it down for a real one, but it ain't no women that's in line to get over here as far as walking through and walk through the woods? That's a coincidence too. Hey, why don't y'all think any of these politicians are saying nothing about this thing and they just leaving our borders open? Everything is just a coincidence. So wait a minute. Everywhere is a sanctuary city. We funding this migrant crisis. None of the Democrats and none of these mayors or governors or anything has anything to say. They just going to torpedo their budget in order to ensure that this crisis continue to happen. Must be a coincidence. They all confused. They don't know what's going on. They just falling in line. The one person that then say, you know what? I'm thinking about not making this a sanctuary city anymore. Next thing you know, everything around them is getting raided. Breaker 1, 2, make sure you rate that. So everything is just a coincidence. Everything. Nothing is lining up. 100% coincidence. You got the poorest people in the world getting released from jail, flying over here, able to pay over $35,000 to get over here in the first place. We don't question where it's getting from. You can't even figure out how to get some bread because you out here starving. Most Americans don't even have $500 to $1,000 in the case of an emergency. And you sitting here talking about, hey, they don't have the money to be able to stop it. What you talking about? So we all crazy. We all crazy. It's all just one big coincidence. You need me to tie the spider web together, or can you use your context clues to start putting this stuff together yourself? No? We good? We good. Okay, I just want to make sure that we get this started off right. We ain't going to do no quick hits. We just going to get right into the thick of it. We're going to get right into the thick of it. I don't know nothing. I'm confused. I'm a C student. I'm dumb. I be going through life confused, like, oh man, I'm so confused. I don't know nothing. I just want to let y'all know that all of this is alleged and I don't know nothing. And I'm confused just like y'all confused because we all confused and none of us know what's going on. I'm just telling you what the sheriff says. And it just so happened to be a coincidence that the sheriff busted 228 people at the same time. That's all from all walks of life. And they just so happened to uncover what's going on because the migrants told them what was happening. That's all I'm saying. I don't know nothing. I'm just reacting to what it is that's being communicated to me. Let me look at a couple of these super chats before I get myself in trouble. A-Man01 says the government has been showed us that they didn't care ever since drugs came to urban communities. They did care because it was largely understood that they was the ones that was profiting. See, you didn't watch. Y'all need to go watch Griselda, man. Go watch Griselda on Netflix. It'll give you a crash course on what was being funded and why they put the drugs in the communities. I'm not going to have to say it. I'm not saying it out loud. I'm just saying that y'all need to go ahead and do some research and just watch some Netflix specials. They'll tell you what's happening. Laverne Gibbs says, good job, Sheriff. This guy should watch his back because he is exposing some dirty people in the federal. Ooh-wee. I don't think he's tripping. Listen, once you get past a certain age, you just be like, listen, let's just go ahead and blow the roof off this thing. Knobs is in the building, says, Anton, so you telling me the government is flying freak offs? I ain't telling you nothing. I'm just saying it is a coincidence that I don't even want to say his name. He just so happened to unalive himself. Never mind, don't worry about it. Amir Taylor says, shout out to the best president we can ever have as the worst human to run office. Let me tell you something. This guy can't even keep his own son from having freak offs and sniffing cocaine off of other people's butts. What makes you think that he... Let me be quiet. I don't want to get into it with nobody. Pan-Africanism Strikes Back says, but Anton, but Trump is a racist. George Floyd. That's the thing that they use. And Pan-Africanism Strikes Back, he knows, because I watch his shows, he knows that these are the things that they keep in front of you in order to keep you distracted so that they can sneak everybody in through the back. No? Don't worry about it. Hey, PA, shout out to you. I appreciate you. You're doing great work. Sister. Shout out to Sister, Mr. AD. Thank you for showcasing Cartez Cookies. Now, Cartez Cookies is a bag chaser. And Cartez Cookies, it's also a business, for those of you that may not be familiar, that I invested in as a part of our last year, end of the year, December investment series. Says, thank you for showcasing Cartez Cookies. And shout out to Cartez Cookies. Today, I'll receive my pretty package of vegan chewy oat milk cookies, eating my milk and cookies. Hey, what you doing? My milk and cookies. Too delicious for words. Hey, Cartez, I think we may be on to something. I might have took some equity in your business. And the packaging is impeccable, just in time for my birthday also. Hey, can we get a round of applause for Sister's birthday? Happy birthday to the baby. That's our baby girl. Sister is our baby girl. Shout out to Sister. I love me some Sister. And shout out to Cartez Cookies for delivering. We love our people. Shout out to my baby. Thank you, sis. Reptilian says this is a horror movie. And it's horrible. Horrible. Listen, let me show y'all just how deep the rabbit hole goes. Would you like to know just how deep the rabbit hole goes? Or you can take the blue pill. Stay in Neverland. Do y'all want to know how deep the rabbit hole goes? Let me show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. I want to give a round of applause to Fani Willis, the Atlanta mayor, Nathan Wade, Kamala Harris, and every single other person. Ash, I appreciate you, big dog. I'm going to read that shortly. And every single person that participated in messing up, fumbling the bag, and made sure that they exposed a true hand that a lot of us still want to stay blind to like we don't know what's going on. And guess what it took in order for us to actually expose all of this? Guess what it took? A white woman. See, the one thing about black women is that they gorgeous, but it's hard to get my sisters to get off code. It's hard to get my sisters to get off code. And you know what else that I noticed? Everybody except the only person that I've seen to have even a minimal conversation about this is my guy, the lead attorney. Give me get a shout out to the lead attorney. The only person, only content creator that I see that's really attacking this and breaking this down. Look, I know a lot of y'all like to be distracted by some girl that said that she don't want $30 for lunch. That stuff is fun to react to too. But we also have to have balance. And it don't take nothing but a good old bulldog white woman. Hallelujah. A good white woman to make sure that she brought the roof is on fire. We don't need that water. Let that mother and burn, mother, burn. It take a good old white woman to make sure that they blow the roof off of this whole thing. When we first started having this conversation, before we get into the video, when we first started having this conversation, the first thing that I said, and y'all thought that it was just her busting it down for a real one, I said, y'all, and correct me if I'm wrong, to my people in the chat. And shout out to AV to the 7th power too. Shout out to AV to the 7th power too. I love her. I said, listen, y'all. This woman is foul. She stinks. And I said, God told me when I was in prayer that this woman is dirtier than dirty. I said it. I broke it down. I pulled all of this stuff off the screen, and I spoke directly to the screen, and I said, listen, I don't know what it is, but for some reason, I believe that we really gonna find out. We really gonna find out who this woman is and what she really about. And you know what it took? You know all it took? A couple different things. A white woman to expose it, and some people to not have dick discipline that ultimately led to the downfall and now the uncovering of all of the dirty stuff that's really happening behind the scenes. And we only getting a peek behind the scenes. We're not really hearing the whole conversation. But I said it. I said it directly to the screen. I said this woman is so dirty. And while the black church got her up there accepting awards and letting her preach on the pulpit, defiling the pulpit, while the black church got her up there defiling the pulpit, this is why the pulpit is sacred. Everybody can't be in the pulpit. Y'all got to be careful of who you align yourself with, because I don't forget. And when I get done with all of this, I'm going to go straight back to them same churches that wanted to have her on the pulpit despite knowing what was going on when she was sitting there saying this because she was a woman and she was black and all of that. Nah. This stinks to high hell. It stinks to high hell. And all it took was for a couple simps, a lack of discipline, in order to blow the roof off of this thing. Exhibit A, ladies and gentlemen.
Or can you confirm whether or not Ms. Willis or Mr. Wade were coordinating with the Biden White House in the course of this investigation and prosecution?
I mean, the discovery, they've got, a lot of our discovery involves the January 6th. I mean, a lot of what we have in discovery is the same stuff that other places have. So they had to have gotten it from somewhere. And they also, they read a lot of the testimony. They played testimony in the special purpose grand jury. So, I don't know how they got all of that, but they got it somehow. And then, there's one of the other things I did was I did open records for the White House access, and we had records that Ms. Willis and the mayor of Atlanta were at meeting with the vice president.
Oh no, Anton, it's not a conspiracy. They actually going after Trump because they fear the possibility of the people actually reelecting him back in the White House and upseating the position of power. And therefore, they won't be able to exact their agenda against the people. Wait. We sat here. We sat here and we looked at the Atlanta mayor show up. The Atlanta mayor showed his face and went to Fani Willis's trial, and we were all confused. Remember when I actually showed this on the show? This is why y'all got to tune in every day. We were confused. This is why they don't want to give me my $30 million, because they don't want me talking like this. They don't want me talking like this. We were confused. And we said, look, why is the Atlanta mayor so dedicated to making sure that he supports Fani Willis? And he spoke out and he went on the news. He said, I want her to know that I got her back. Well, what he didn't tell us is that him and her have been communicating, and then they took a secret squirrel meeting and trip over to the White House. And they just so happened to be meeting with who? Cam. Oh, the dots are starting to connect. Wait, you telling me that this woman, this white woman that got these pearls, this saintly white woman right here, this saintly white woman is finally connecting the pieces for us, which they don't want us to know, and that this saintly white woman is starting to put together the pieces right before our eyes. But if we didn't have the testimony, if y'all wouldn't stop simping and saying, well, Anton, she shouldn't even have to testify. She's not the one that's on trial. Oh, yes, she is. And now in the court of public opinion, because the people are the ones that determine what's happening. Not you. This is an elected position. Look, it's still people like CivLab. Why is everybody treating Ashleigh's statements as if they're gospel? She feeling the, come on. Stop simping. Come on back to the front of the congregation. She's telling you that this is, listen, she's just telling you and presenting the evidence. It's not that she even got to say that her word is gospel. Matter of fact, I'll let her tell you herself.
Okay, and so this is the access history. How does that work? The White House keeps records of anybody that comes in and has any kind of official meeting, for sure?
Yes, and my understanding is it's highly regulated who can access the White House, and so you have to apply in person or apply ahead of time, and then they give you a time when you make the appointment, and they give you a time when you're allowed to be in and when you have to be out by, and they track you. And I mean, that makes sense. They don't want anybody lingering in the White House, but they keep that. And so they're called WAVE records, I believe is what they're called, and I'm not sure what that's an acronym for, but they're publicly available. They're open records.
Wait a minute. So you telling me that we don't have to depend on a white woman's testimony, Ashleigh? She's saying that, listen, if you don't believe me, this is public information. You can go over there and see it for yourself. But see, we didn't know how to connect the dots because nobody knew to even look. Why would we look? Why would we look to see whether or not an Atlanta mayor and Fani Willis actually was meeting with Cam in order to source information so that they could possibly file charges and prevent him from being able to become the president again by then trumping up a bunch of charges and saying that he actually caused an insurrection in January? Why would we think to do that? Why would we think to look there? Huh? Thank God that we live in the United States of America, that we can actually source this information. But I can't put it together any better than this beautiful white woman can. Let her tell you.
And this record that's shown on the screen shows Fani Willis was a visitor with V. POTUS. I presume that's Vice President of the United States?
Yes, it was.
And what was the date of that back in, was that February sometime of 23?
February 28, 2023.
Is that before the indictment?
Yes.
Okay. Any further?
Let me replay that for y'all one more time. Just for the people that didn't hear it, let me replay it for the ones in the back that actually don't believe what she's saying. Let me go back a little bit.
can access the White House, and so you have to apply in person or apply ahead of time, and then they give you a time when you make the appointment, and they give you a time when you're allowed to be in and when you have to be out by, and they track you. And I mean, that makes sense. They don't want anybody, lingering in the White House, but they keep that. And so they're called WAVE records, I believe is what they're called, and I'm not sure what that's an acronym for, but they're publicly available. They're open records.
And this record that's shown on the screen shows Fani Willis was a visitor with V. POTUS. I presume that's Vice President of the United States?
Yes, it was.
And what was
So they met with the Vice President of the United States of America, Fani Willis, and the Atlanta mayor. I suppose they wasn't necessarily talking about the YSL trial. What do you think? You think that they was talking about Young Thug, or do you think that they was talking about what it is that they could do as far as making sure that they get these charges levied against Trump? I'm just curious. Maybe they was talking about Young Thug. Lifestyle. Time of the world. This treasure will save your lifestyle. Maybe they was talking about the YSL case in Ghana. No, y'all don't think that they was talking about the YSL case in Ghana? All right, let me get back to it. This is the greatest morning show. I love doing this show.
the date of that back in, was that February sometime of 23?
February 28, 2023.
Is that before the indictment?
Yes.
Okay. Any further explanation of why Ms. Willis was meeting with the Vice President of the United States?
No. I know Dexter Bonds, and I believe that's the same one that Mr. I think it's Dixon, the mayor of Atlanta, was also there.
Okay. All right, we're going to take a short break. We've been going.
The mayor of Atlanta. ATL shouted. The mayor of Atlanta, ATL shouted, was over there kicking it. Oh my God. This is insane. If y'all are not completely blown away by this conversation and this confirmation, I can't believe that y'all not paying attention and y'all are not 100% like, yo, how can we reelect these people? Because every last one of these people that's meeting are all elected officials, meaning that you the ones that put them into office. The mayor, the DA, Fani Willis, Biden, they all was elected into these positions. And y'all know what y'all doing? Y'all continuing to fill their war chest up in order for them to be reelected again. This is crazy, and y'all don't think that this is insane? Man, listen, man, this should be the biggest story of 2024. God said that 2024 was going to be a big year for us. I didn't know that it was going to start off with a bang.
Actually, I first did an open records. And they
All
said
right,
no.
so they're going back and forth. That was really interesting, actually. We got to see how the original text messages between the divorce attorney for Nathan Wade and also his former law business partner was texting with this attorney for Trump co-defendant, Ashleigh Merchant. And so now that we get to see when they were opened, what dates they were sent, I mean, it's all out there and easy to understand. Senior correspondent Jonathan Seri is at the Georgia State Capitol in Atlanta. He's been watching, as we have been, and monitoring since the hearing began. Jonathan, what can you tell us that specifically stands out at this point to you?
Yeah, well, this Senate committee hearing is learning more details about what defense attorney Ashleigh Merchant says she was able to learn about the romantic relationship between District Attorney Fani Willis and Nathan Wade, her special prosecutor in the Georgia election interference case. Let's listen to some highlights.
He said that they met at a judicial conference before. He was very specific that it was before she became DA, because that was one of the things that he couldn't remember when the judicial conference was, but he knew that it was before she became DA. And he told me, you know, they met at hotels. He would go to her place. And I remember him saying, you need to find her bestie who they had a falling out. That's the person whose condo it was that they would meet at.
Sister wives. So you telling me black women do actually run interference in order to ensure that the wives don't find out that they going over to your crib. You don't know where to look because she over at her bestie. She over at her bestie's house. So you telling me Grizzly Grip P was meeting with Nathan Wade at her bestie's house, and then they wound up falling out.
Ashleigh Merchant is an attorney representing former Trump campaign aide Mike Roman. Roman, who was a co-defendant of the former president, had filed a motion with Merchant to have DA Willis removed from the case. A judge is expected to rule on that by mid-March. Now, the committee chairman today asked Merchant whether she had reason to believe that Willis or Nathan Wade were coordinating with the Biden White House over the course of the Trump investigation. Listen.
Open records for the White House access, and we had records that Ms. Willis and the mayor of Atlanta were at meeting with the vice president.
Fani Willis and Nathan Wade have testified that they did not become romantically involved until after she hired him to help investigate the Trump case in November of 2021. But as you heard from Ashleigh Merchant's testimony earlier today, the defense is alleging that the romance started much earlier than that. Harris?
So, Jonathan, I just want to get this straight because I've got a former U.S. attorney coming up next, and I want to make sure I have my facts straight. What was the deal with the meeting at the White House? Did you say the Vice President, Kamala Harris?
Said that several people were meeting at the White House. Of course, the nature of that meeting was not expressed. It could have been some Democratic event or a social event.
Who was in it?
But the implication that they're trying to get at was that allegedly there may have been some coordination with this case, but they don't have any hard evidence of that at this point because the receipts, and this is something that Ashleigh Merchant pointed out, that Nathan Wade submitted are very vague. They just mention that he met with White House counsel or met with White House, but doesn't go into any detail as to what the meetings were.
Okay, I got it. Thank you, Jonathan.
I'm amazed. Nathan Wade, Atlanta Mayor, Fani Willis. Why would the White House want to meet with them? I'm so confused. Why would the White House want to meet with Nathan Wade, the Atlanta mayor, and Fani Willis for over 5 hours at the White House specifically? With the Vice President of the United States of America. Literally, almost the second most powerful person in the world. What? This got to be a coincidence, too. Maybe we should just rename this whole show from Dirty Politics to Coincidence. You mean they meeting with the border czar? Four black people. All of them. 2 men and 2 women. Hopefully they didn't have a freak off. And now that would be news. Now that would get the black community up in the roar. Listen, hopefully they didn't. If they had a freak off, then I know that y'all going to actually start paying attention. See, I don't really care about the corruption, the conspiracies, the allegedlys, the receipts, the logs. Y'all don't care about none of that stuff. None of that means anything. The only thing that means anything is whether or not they had a freak off. 2 women and 2 men. Ooh, wait. Then we gonna get y'all on board. Then we gonna get all black media to start focusing. BET. No, they want to know whether or not Shannon Sharp's hips is working correctly. Did you see Shannon Sharp today? Hey, I was talking to somebody. And they said, Anton, because I was out in the streets. You know, I'm in the streets of Detroit every day. Anton, did you do a video about Shannon Sharp looking sassy? I was like, is that what you want to see? Yeah, man, you got to talk about that. I said, yeah, but did you catch what's going on with the Fani Willis case? Fani who? Who? Hey, y'all know what's going on with the Supreme Court? You know that they trying to remove presidential candidates from the ballot? What this nigga talking about? What you talking about? Oh, you think you one of the smart ones? Huh? You crazy, boy. Man, I can't wait for you to react to what's going on with Shannon Sharp because I know that his hips ain't working right. I'm telling you, bro, this is what our community is. This is what our community be acting like. Man, did you see what was going on with Christian Rock? Man, she got a whole tattoo on her face. Like, yeah, but did y'all see what was happening with the Supreme Court? The Supreme who? What did the Supreme Court do? Like, yeah, they ruled that he could actually stay on the ballot. Ah, man, I ain't voting anyway. I don't care nothing about that. You know the votes don't do nothing for black people. Black people don't care nothing about that. Like, yeah, I got you, fam. See, instead of sitting there going back and forth, trying to explain to people, hey, guys, let's educate ourselves so we can make more informed decisions. And then we can start to make differences in our community because it goes from the top all the way down to the bottom, even when it comes to the funding of. Man, nobody care about that. Black people don't care about that because you know that the vote don't mean nothing. It's already set up as a system against us. Like, yeah. All right, buddy. Don't worry about it. We gonna get there. I be feeling like I'm living in a Twilight Zone, man. I don't be knowing what be happening, what's going on. If you don't put a little young woman on it, then they don't want to talk about it. Ash! Shout out to my dog, Ash. Ash says, AD, you are over the target. This is partly why Dems are trying to destroy Trump. He knows where the boobies are. He know where they buried. For all my veterans. For all my veterans, we have seen a lot of things that were questionable, and we are all what is going on. Can I get another round of applause for Ash? Looking out for your boy, and then he hit me with a back-to-back. He hit me with a back-to-back. AD, Malcolm, all right, specifically informed black people not to trust white liberals. It was very clear about the Dems' deception via LBJ. Great society get black folks on a forever voting rolls. Many black people are being used to destroy themselves in the United States Constitution. I agree 100%. 100%, Ash. Thank you for being a part of what it is that we're doing over here at the Millionaire Morning Show. And you are always going to be at the top of the totem pole here, Ash. We 100% appreciate you, big dog. Thank you, Ash. We all know what's going on. Hashtag MAGA. All right. Ken J in the building says, doesn't this prove what Trump has been saying? It absolutely does. But guess what? We're going to keep our head in the sand, put our head buried in the sand, act like it's not a real thing. Al says, for the collection plate and gratitude for your work. Thank you, Al. I appreciate you. I need to order me some Trump sneakers. Rose says, in my Mark voice, what does GTD stand for, Tommy? Gorilla. With my gorilla grip pump in my lap at all times. Gorilla grip pump in my lap at all. Y'all know what pistol grip pump? Gorilla grip. Don't worry about it. Some of y'all might be a little young. I know you ain't never heard of that song. That's a little bit above your pay grade. Leland Brown says, I get it. The sad aspect of this is the nonsense that Fani and Nate have committed completely diverts attention off of transgressions of Trump and the acts he committed against the country, regardless if he committed them. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you, Leland. Architect Nice TV says, I got this 2-ball for you. Thank you, my friend, for holding me down. Ash is in the building, says black people are a joke. Just easily distracted, Ash. We love black people over here. More Than Mellow was in the building, says me and the girlfriend are moving to Montana from California this year. Billings is a great city.
No sales tax, and I can finish my IT degree online. And more than mellow. I want you to make sure that when you move from California, that you don't bring your voting practices back with you. Yes. All right.
No taking the way that you thought when you were in California over with you over to Montana. All right, more than mellow. He said, and I also joined the Chasers. Yeah. Congratulations. Make sure y'all tap into that Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Full Metal Jacket says they meeting because if this fails, they will look into the mail in votes that got us elected. I didn't say it. I didn't say it. You said it. I'm just reading what you said because I like to acknowledge the people that's out here doing the work. Messy. Leland Brown with the Freddy ball. Shout out to Leland Brown. He said, brothers of arms, veterans know more than anyone the issues in the closet of this country. Respect to Ash. I work with the military closely. Thank you, Leland Brown, for supporting the platform and making sure that we're doing what we're doing over here at the Millionaire Morning Show. You guys are absolutely, positively the best in the world. Thank you, my friends, for continuing to hold me down, but we not done. We got a whole show, not a half a show, a whole show to continue to go over. Ashleigh Merchant, I like to call her the Merchant of Death, if you know what I'm saying. Ashleigh Merchant is out here doing God's work, and she is blowing the doors off of this. Shut your mouth. What you say? Shut your mouth. Ashleigh is over here doing the Lord's work. She is exposing everything at these Senate hearings, and she's providing the receipts to go along with it. Check it out.
But the other thing that I was talking about, so this is the Cellhawk report, and heat map is just like how many times it's pinging, heavy concentration is, you're talking a lot at this time, or you're at that location a lot. There's a lot of usage. The other thing I was talking about, just to make sure it's clear, so that's Cellhawk. Cellbrite is a different program. Cellbrite, and it's Cellebrite. Cellbrite is a program similar to Cellhawk, but it downloads data in the phone. So like this one is you pinging off of towers. It's geolocation.
Showing where you were.
Exactly.
At a certain time.
Cellbrite actually can get your texts, your pictures, your app usage, all of that stuff. So it's one of those things that if you want, if a defendant is threatening someone by text and they delete it, they'll take their phone and hook it up to Cellbrite. Cellbrite it makes what's called a forensic copy of the phone, but you can also limit the data. So it's very expensive program. So not a lot of people have it. So when I have my clients use it, it costs a lot of money for them to have it done. But the DA's office has it. They have the software. They pay for it. You can find that in their open checkbook. The city of Atlanta police have it as well. But what you can do is you can copy cell phone. So what I had mentioned earlier is
you have to have the cell phone to do that?
You do. You have to have the cell phone.
So what, did Mr. Bradley give you all his cell phone? Or
No.
how'd you get Mr. Wade's cell phone?
So we did not get that data from Mr. Wade. So we only got the geolocation data from Mr. Wade. I do not have the power to get the text messages. I don't have that power. I would have to have a search warrant. The state's the only one that has the power to actually get someone's text messages out of their phone. But my whole point in saying that was if I had been accused of having an affair and it didn't start, and I said it started in April and someone else said it started in November, they have the ability. I don't have the ability. They have the ability to plug that phone into the Cellbrite and print out a report that shows all of the texts.
So
let me tell you something. In order for you to be able to get this level of information based off of what she's saying, you got to have some moles. You got to have some snitches. You got to have some people that is working in the inside for you. Now, we already know Terrence Bradley was absolutely weak for the box. This is why you need strong women on your team. This is why you need strong women. Okay, two things that I'm taking from this right now, because she is telling all of the information, how she got it, where she got it from, who she getting it from, and all of the moles and everybody that was trying to get some box. All right. The first thing that I was thinking when I was watching this is, I'm about to throw away every phone that I'd ever had in my entire life. I'm about to start moving like the wire out in these joints. Yeah. Yeah. Listen, you can have these iPhones. I'm about to go and get me a flip phone. A burner flip phone. Yes, I am. You're going to be texting me and I'm going to be like, who this woman? Hobbo, you know who this woman is? I know y'all think that everything that y'all doing is being hidden, but nope. Not only are they triangulating your positions based off of the cell tower usage, boy, they can pull up everything that you thought that you deleted. You thought that you hid it away from your girl. You ain't hold it away from them. For sure, for sure.
Mr. Wade and Ms. Willis, had they wanted to disprove your allegations, could have just used that Cellbrite program, and it would have shown no communications between them.
Yes, and it would have also showed the contents of the text. If the texts are romantic, if they're not romantic, if they're friendly, and they would control the data. So if there's something that was privileged, they could redact it. If there was something that if they wanted to only limit it to, like, we want to prove that we weren't talking romantically in November, they could limit it to that.
So they could have actually pulled up the text itself to say, hey, I need you to help me work on this case, or else, hey, I need you to meet me at the Love Nest.
Yes, 100%. Okay. Yes. I don't have that ability. So I don't have the ability to get a search warrant and get that data. All I have the ability to do is get that geofencing.
Well, who found out about these 12,000 texts and calls and all that kind of stuff?
That is what I was able to get by subpoena. So I was able to get the geolocation data by subpoena. What I can't get is what's inside of the phone. I can't get the texts inside the phone.
The word.
She don't want to tell you how she got it. Dang, man, y'all trying to give up all of her sources. You got to keep something for the ladies.
In the text.
Exactly.
But you were able to find out that they were texting each other.
Oh, yeah.
Prior to November 1st of 21.
Yes.
How did you find that data? Is that anything you've produced to us?
That is, the CellHawk data actually analyzes that. So you can see, we just summarized 2021. So approximately 12,000 interactions, that's voice and texts, for the year of 2021. And again, remember, 2021, he didn't get the contract until November of that year. So most of 2021, he's not under contract. Over 2,000 voice calls, almost 10,000 text messages.
How did they explain that? Did you confront? We're not privy to what all came out in evidence at the hearings that you've had. Did you get either one of them to say, that's not true, we didn't really talk 12,000 times? Or?
No, what they did was they filed an affidavit saying that geolocation data is not always reliable.
Okay.
How is it not always reliable? Yet they use that same information and data in order to continue to prosecute other people. So it's not reliable for you, but it's reliable for the people that you prosecute? Come on, family. So all of a sudden, geolocation data isn't always reliable. Okay, well, what is the data that's not reliable? What does it do? What's the non-reliable data? How does that play out? Come on. Stop it.
Does that apply to Cellbrite data, though?
No, it doesn't. And it was ironic because I have a number of cases. I mean, almost every murder case I've had in the last decade has had geolocation data.
Used by the prosecution against the defendant, right?
They use CellHawk data.
So every single case that you've had, prosecuted, defended, was all 100% based off of this same data that they're then saying that they can't use against them, but they can use it against other people. Listen, if I was a person that had been prosecuted by this administration, by the Fani Willis, Nathan Wades, and all of these people, I would be watching this intensely, and I would be like, hey, listen. They said that this information ain't reliable. How y'all get them to prosecute us with it, but y'all wasn't able to make sure that they hold themselves accountable as a result of it? Because you can't throw me in jail. If it's somehow, some way it's all of a sudden not always reliable, then how come you use it to prosecute me? Kayla said it's for the criminals. I know who the criminals are. It's Fani Wade It's all of them people. It's Wade, Willis, Nathan, Fani, all of the first names and last names. They all got first names as last names. What you talking about, Willis? Fani got 2 first names, Fani and Willis. Nathan got two first names, Nathan and Wade. I don't trust people with 2 first names. I don't trust people that got 2 first names. I don't. Listen. I don't trust people that got 2 first names. At all. Y'all trust people with 2 first names? Quinn said Nathan is not a criminal. He just wanted some Gorilla Grip. So how do you explain the amount of money that he got paid as a result of getting that Gorilla Grip? That's what makes it criminal. This is what makes it criminal. It's the taxpayers' dollars. They paying themselves to go and frolic on vacation, bust it down, and then be able to influence an election. That's what makes it criminal.
I mean, literally, they're using this right now. So our investigator actually analyzed the same. There's a trial going on. It's called the YSL trial. There's this same data being used in that trial, and our investigator actually analyzed it for them in that case. So, I mean,
for them, you mean for the Fulton County DA's office?
Quinn said he's just doing his job. So he doing the job that he wasn't qualified to do because he's never actually prosecuted that type of case before. But it's the first time, and it's the biggest case in Georgia history. Okay. All right. I got you. He's qualified.
So on this case, these RICO cases that you're involved in, one of them, there are other special counsel in addition to Mr. Wade?
Yes. So there's 2 other on this case particularly. There's a lady named Anna Cross and a gentleman named John Floyd. And John Floyd has worked with the DA's office for many years. I actually was involved in another RICO case year before this one, which luckily my client resolved his case, so I'm no longer involved in. But that case, John Floyd had also helped craft the indictment. And, you know, he's sort of known as a go-to person for racketeering cases, so the district attorney would regularly call on him to help in drafting indictment. Anytime we would file what's called a demur, which is a motion to quash an indictment, he would usually be the one that came and argued it. And then Anna Cross was also hired, and she really focused on the work in federal court. And both of those sort of make sense to me because Fulton County prosecutors they're not necessarily barred in federal court. It's not something that would be required for your job. When I was a public defender in Fulton County, I wasn't barred in federal court. You know, I had no need to. I wouldn't have paid the dues, wouldn't have done that. So, you know, it's not something that would be required for their job, but Ms. Cross is experienced in that. So she was hired sort of as a subject matter expert to litigate some of the federal removal issues in this case.
Did those 2 individuals have contracts with the DA's office as well?
They have had contracts historically. They do not currently have contracts. Yeah. It's very odd.
Did you review their billings?
I did. I reviewed their billings. Stark contrast. So Mr. Floyd, for example, he was only paid at a rate of $150 an hour. And Same case. And he
more experience and expertise in RICO cases.
I mean, everybody would agree. I think that John Floyd is one of the preeminent experts on RICO. Yeah. I believe he testified in front of the Georgia legislature when RICO was passed.
Did he have to submit itemized invoices?
He did, and his were very different. His were significantly reduced, and the big difference was he billed for the time that he was working on the case, not necessarily like 8 hours for team meetings and
things
like that.
He have itemized billings?
Very much so,
and
yes.
What increments did he bill in?
I might have some of his contracts with me, but it was either 10 or 15-minute increments. Okay. And so did Anna Cross. Now, Anna Cross was paid $250 an hour. Anna Cross is very well-known, very experienced appellate, federal lawyer, does a lot of complex litigation. She was a DA for many years, handled a lot of high-profile cases for the district attorney's office. I mean, I know her back from when, you know, we did death penalty work in Cobb County together 15 years ago. And then she went to DeKalb County and prosecuted a number of high-profile cases there, but just very well-known. And her bills were also submitted, but they were the same rate. They were $250 an hour, but they were much lower bills, not anywhere near the bills that Mr. Wade did.
Do you know how much Anna Cross has received during the course of this criminal prosecutions or
I'm not sure.
Investigations?
I might. Let's see.
Okay. You said Mr. Wade had about 700,000 so far?
Yeah, oh, Miss Cross was under 100,000, I believe.
So if she's under 100,000, what about Mr. Floyd?
Mr. Floyd, much lower, even lower than Anna Cross. He has not billed in a while, so I've subpoenaed, or not subpoenaed, I did subpoena, but I also did open records for all of his bills. We've not been provided anything recently from him, so I'm not sure if he actually did bill, because his contract said you have to submit the bill within a certain amount of time. So I'm not really sure. They stopped responding to my open records requests, but when they did respond, they were very, very limited, very small bills.
Okay. And your open records request was to whom? The Fulton County government, the commission, or the DA's office?
I did them to all of them, and once especially that they stopped responding to them. So they have a portal, and if you go to the DA's office and you click open records, it takes you to the Fulton County portal. So if you try to submit it to the DA's office, it necessarily goes to a portal for the entire county. So you have to submit it through those. So that's where I would submit it. You can designate, I think this is the DA, I think this is budget, things like that. So I would be over-inclusive just to make sure that I wasn't missing somebody. But every single time they would route it to the DA's office. So I would get a response that said it's been routed to the DA's office and, we're waiting on the response. There were one or two that I got from the county that didn't appear to be routed to the DA's office.
So basically what she's saying is these two lawyers, the woman and the man, one of the guys, the man actually is the foremost expert on RICO cases in general. The woman is highly experienced and continuing to do this work and prosecuting, so on and so forth, right? Significantly lower bills. Woman was under 100,000. The other guy under 100, even lower than her. But Nathan Wade made 700 bands. Jesus Christ. I guess that's all a coincidence also, right? So Nathan Wade, that had literally no experience, zero, nada, zilch, prosecuting these type of cases or doing this type of work. I mean zero. And when I say zero, I mean none. Zero, zilch, nada. Had no experience working these type of cases. Lied about being in a relationship and busting it open and spending late nights over at their crib. But yet he got paid the equivalent or more than 7 to 8 times. 7 to 8 times more than the people that were actually experts on the case, and he was billing at some point even in 24-hour increments. Wow. Wow. He said, I'm a high-value man. I'm a high-value man. Good God. Listen, everybody knows. Well, maybe everybody doesn't know, but let me give you a little bit of insight. When things are so disproportionate, right? If you make $1 million and the next person that's actually better than you is only making 80 bands, that's an instant red flag as far as the expense reports. Hey, wait. What's going on? We pay $750, $750,000 to this person in one shot? Wait, how did that work? Oh, wait. Hold on. You telling me that they both taking trips at the same time? You know where all of this started? Ain't this crazy? All of this started from an ex-wife. An ex-wife. A bitter baby mama said, all right, let me get this steam ball rolling. Now we all the way up and we having conversations about the vice president of the United States of America. It started with one dispute, one woman. And now we talking about a conspiracy to influence whether or not you can even vote for a president. We all the way up to the vice president of the United States of America. We got geolocation information, fencing data, text messages, Open Records Act, expense reports, Caribbean cruises, Belize, money's going everywhere. Black men trying to have sex with white women. Atlanta mayor busting it open. Secret meetings at the White House. Ooh, wee. I don't think we done, y'all. I don't think that this is going away no time soon. This is the story of the year. And I am going to be right here giving you guys a breakdown from a C student's perspective of what it is that you guys are looking at.
And so who's refusing to produce these records to you?
The letter came from...
What's so funny about that, Christy? Christy said, black people can't be racist. We don't have the power. I heard that argument a whole lot of times. And isn't that interesting? Because even in 2024, I've recently had somebody that come up on my platform and they said, Anton, black people can't be racist. I said, why not? They said, in order to be racist, you got to have the power to influence what happens to somebody else. So that means that black people can't be racist. I mean, for God's sakes, you got 4 black people talking in the White House for 5 hours, according to whatever it is that this woman is alleging. You got 4 black people that is talking. I mean, some of the highest, most appointed, decorated positions in the land. Wade, Fani, Atlanta mayor, Kamala Harris, who's also an AKA. And they all getting paid off of taxpayer dollars to do it. They ain't even got to produce nothing. All they got to do is continue to get that money. They taking trips, busting it down for a real one. They got access to the most powerful people in the country. Wow. This is incredible. This is incredible. We got to whisper. We got to whisper. Hey, little mama, let me do your dance. Wait till you see mom. Shh. Wait till you see mom. Like, dear. Boom. Boom. Dears. Wait till you see ma. Ooh. Wait till you see ma. We gotta whisper because we don't want nobody to hear what we talking about. Because if they hear what we talking about, we can get in trouble. So if we whisper. I'm sorry, not Fani. Cam is an AKA. We gotta whisper so that we can make sure that the people don't see us. And if we whisper, then that means that we can get away with what we're talking about. Because then they're not going to be able to say that we said what we said when we said it. Wait till you see my, ooh. Wait till you see my, like this.
Extra bonds at the DA's office.
And that's why you filed a lawsuit against the DA's office to force them to comply with open records.
Yes.
Okay, that's still pending?
It is still pending.
Fulton County Superior Court?
It's Fulton County Superior Court. It's assigned to Judge Krause, I believe, and the county attorney contacted us and says they're going to be responding. So the county attorney is actually defending that lawsuit.
Right. And so they're telling you they're going to respond to the case or respond to the request now? You're waiting to see.
I believe the case. I haven't received any documents, so.
Fairly recent filing you filed there, or that lawsuit?
Yeah, so we filed it in January, and then they had a little shutdown in Fulton County where nothing was able to be file stamped. Our process server couldn't serve it until it was file stamped, and the Odyssey, the e-file system in Fulton County was hacked, and so it was shut down for a while. So it took us a little bit of time to get a file stamped copy back, but it's now been served. But it was filed on January 30th.
What else, sweetie?
Of 2024.
2024. Okay. And I have a copy, which...
I don't have that. If you would provide us with that, then we'll give it to the Secretary of the Senate as a supplemental response to the subpoena.
Fani is an AKA
I'm happy to.
too?
This is a clean copy.
Okay.
Yes, so you all can...
So what's the relevance to you? Why did you seek these billing records of these attorneys?
I wanted to compare the different billing, the different styles of billing. Also, there had been an allegation that I was singling out Mr. Wade, and so I thought it was relevant to see the rates that the other attorneys were paid, their billing, what type of billing, if they
remember when
billed
there
for
were allegations that they said that you were singling them out because there was a black woman named Fani Willis that was on a church pulpit. You churches need to be, y'all should be ashamed of yourself. Not all black churches, but the black churches that actually sit out there and they gave her an award and they let her get on the pulpit and they let her disrespect Martin Luther King Day. And she got up there and she ran in the Victim Olympics, but we not going to sit here and have no conversation about that. Who's the pastor of that church? Let me do it. Hey, somebody find out who the pastor of these churches are that's over here having this woman up here saying what she's saying on the pulpit on God's Day. On God's Day. God's Day. Hey, on the low, let me get off of this. I don't care about this no more. We all gonna be covering this for the whole rest of the year. Don't worry, we be on it. On the low, hey, AKA's been taking L's all year. I ain't even gonna cap. Listen, it's well over 2,500 people watching this on multiple different platforms live. Let me say this. AKAs have been taking L's all year long. All year long. I mean, from the chick that was down there in Mississippi. Was it Mississippi or was it Alabama? She was an AKA. The chick that said that she seen that white baby on the side of the road and then they kidnapped her. Y'all know that she was an AKA? Yeah, she was an AKA. It's been AKAs taking L's for like 3 years straight. Real talk. Fani Willis is an AKA. Kamala Harris is an AKA. And they keep frolicking and crisscrossing the country and flying everywhere and tearing people's lives up. Hey, shout out to the AKAs. What's the noise y'all make? Was that it? Did I do it wrong? Oh, don't worry about it. I know that y'all like AKA. I know that y'all like Carly Russell. That's her name. AKA's not going to like this one. I don't care. I don't care. What y'all think that y'all... shout out to your car. Thank you, my friend. What y'all think that y'all above reproach? Y'all think that y'all above reproach? Keep making each other pay these high dues for these cults that y'all in? Ooh. Ooh. Skewy. For these cults that y'all in? You don't think that I go for your whole organization? I'm just getting started. I'm just getting started. Oh, wait, I'm just getting started. Yeah. We gonna get there. We gonna get there. That's correct, Crystal Lee. You said it. True Christians cannot pledge to sororities or fraternities. I haven't even said. I ain't said. Maybe we say that one for after hours. Maybe we say that for after hours. Tony Nichols says, "Oh, Anton, you better leave the divine nine alone." Yeah. I don't have no strings on me. I don't have listen, nothing and nobody can control me. Nothing and nobody can control me. None of them. I'm bound by God, not by man. I'm bound by God, not by man. I don't care nothing about you or your organization or who started it or why you continue to support it and why you continue to be a part of it. If I see something wrong, I'm going to call it for what it is. Now, we can have that conversation. And if you want to get in touch with me, you can get in touch with me just like everybody else. Anton Daniels 413 at email 413@gmail.com. But let me help you to understand something. I have no strings on me. Nothing. That's what makes me dangerous, is because I'm already rich. Only person I answer to is God. And actually, I don't even answer to God. I go through Jesus in order to be able to get to God. That's it. That's the only person that has control on me. If God don't tell me to slow down, then what am I supposed to do? All I can do is do what I'm gonna do. I have no strings on me. Don't worry about it. We got some more that we gonna get to. We gotta know. I'll get to y'all later. Don't worry about it. I'm a free thinker. Rose says, even if they take Trump off the ballot, which they not, did they forget that you can manually submit or write your candidate in? They doing anything that they want to do. Anything that they want to do. They going to do what they want to do. Okay. All right. Kev says, super old black churches that support migrants and Fani through this is part of the problem, and all black dim politicians that overlook the people. And the people that get them in, even though they know that these people are crooked. Shout out to Philip Monroe, hold me down. Alphas and Qs. They full of the devil too. I don't care nothing about them either. Man, don't y'all know that I don't fear nothing and nobody? God is covering me. Anything that happens to me on this earth is only because God allowed for it to happen. I don't worry about people. I ain't never answered to nobody in my life except for God. That's it. Y'all fear people. I don't fear nobody. Nobody and nothing. Ashy Knuckles is in the building and says, I remember smartphones were incentivized. Free smartphone, radio phones price jacked up over 200%. Shout out to Ashy Knuckles. Only people that don't know God is fearful of other people. That's it. Mr. Lott said, forgive me, chasers. I've been working. I've been under deadlines. Hey, get that bag, Mr. Lott. Shout out to Mr. Lott getting that bag. I'm just now watching while y'all keep saying Gorilla Grip. Oh, I've never laughed so loud in my life. I had to push a meeting back. Get that bag, Mr. Lott. Shout out to my guy. Jude says, AD, I disagreed with you a while back when you said you were not really a Trump supporter because of the drama that follows him around. We can see where the drama comes from. I didn't say that I wasn't a Trump supporter. I said that it would be difficult. Y'all got to get my words correct. It's difficult when you have so many things that is impacting you, and it's not good optics for a person that is trying to become elected president. Now, what I stand for as far as me supporting him, I think that he's the best president and the best potential candidate. But what I'm saying is there other people that then espouse the same rhetoric, that has the same policies, that can do just as good of a job, but does not have as much drama following them, that then wouldn't distract the people from actually paying attention to what actually makes sense? So it doesn't mean that he's not a good candidate. It's just that all of the drama that continues to surround him. And one thing, I will give you some credit, because you are absolutely right. We see where the drama is coming from. It's not self-inflicted. It's manufactured. You are 100% correct. 100% correct. I will give you credit for that. Shout out to Jude. Let me read a few more super chats, and then we're going to continue with the show. AJY says, dude was bending Fani over while on the clock. And ain't nothing like getting paid to bust that box down. Ain't nothing like getting paid to bust that box down. Jude says, I've remained a Trump supporter through thick and thin because these evil people have been after him since day one. Remember the Russia hoax? I'm paying attention. Full Metal says, I thought that there was a writer's strike. This drama is better than anything that they can come up with on Netflix. Let me play Nathan Wade when Casting Call comes up for the movie documentary. When you coming to Dalton, I'm not telling y'all when I'm coming to Dalton. I'm just going to show up. One day y'all going to wake up and Anton going to be in the meeting like, hey, I need to say something on microphone. I might take over my guy saying, I ain't going to tell y'all what that is. Y'all just going to know. Shalika, what up, Shalika? You are right. Fani is an AKA too. See? I'm right even when I'm wrong. Even when I don't know I'm right. BizQ says HBCU pumping out black women that make careers out of locking up black men. Kamala and Fani, both AKAs, both prosecuted. Then that means they fit right in the Biden administration, right? Ash says, AD, did we ever find out where that baby at? No, still walking around naked in the woods, I guess. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying, Ash? Let's continue over with the show. So listen. We stopped off in Florida in the beginning of the show to address what was happening with regard to human trafficking. And then somehow, some way, we conspiracy theoried our way into what the possibilities was when it came to the migrant crisis. But then we put the brakes on that and we said, listen, guys, we only dealing facts. And that's what the sheriff was saying. But we don't know because he's assuming maybe based off of what's being communicated to him from the people that's he arresting, right? And so then we went over to Ashleigh. Ashleigh Merchant was doing the Lord's work. But Ashleigh told us, she said, listen, there's been some secret squirrel meetings, like Tiffany Dalton liked to say, or Tiffany Henyard in Dalton like to say. She said there's some secret squirrel meetings that's happening over there in the White House. And then Ashleigh then went over there and said, listen, I got the monies. The records for how much they paying people. But now we're going to switch over, right? Because before we get back to the migrants, we have to understand exactly how these whole things, these migrant crisis, this crime, this defund the police, everything is impacting what's happening in our cities, including one of the biggest cities in the entire country, how it's impacting it, right? And so I want to take y'all over to New York. Did y'all know that New York has literally deployed the National Guard into its subways in order to make sure that they get some kind of control of what's happening from all of the violent crime that's going on inside of our United States of the Americas? I bet you didn't know that. We just going to stop off here real quick just to keep you guys informed.
Over 3.6 million people take the New York City subway every day.
I'm always mindful of my environment. I'm always looking.
This morning, the National Guard will be checking bags after a rash of violent assaults on the nation's largest train system. One high-profile case, this horrifying moment, a woman smashed cellist Ian Forrest in the head while he was performing on a subway platform.
A lot of pain. I didn't know what happened.
The increased security, part of the New York governor's plan to crack down on crime.
These brazen, heinous attacks on our subway system will not be tolerated.
It builds on the 1,000.
Antonio, you share this stream with your AKA auntie. We're going to release her from them demons.
Additional NYPD officers New York City's mayor ordered to patrol the trains last month after a reported 45% spike in transit crimes in January. The latest Gallup poll finds 77% of Americans believe crime is on the rise nationwide. But that perception is not the reality in most places.
Connie.
The FBI says violent crimes are actually on the decline after a nationwide surge in 2020. Still, some cities are facing big challenges. In Philadelphia, 8 teenagers were shot at a city bus stop, just hours after the transit police chief there pledged an aggressive push against all crimes on public transportation.
We're going to target every criminal code on the books.
Despite the national trends, Washington, D.C. saw a historic spike in violent crimes last year, up 39%.
The bill's approved unanimously.
The D.C. Council passed a massive bill aimed to make the district safer, including increased penalties for some gun offenses and expanding the definition of carjacking. Here in New York City, Transit Chief Michael Kemper says the increased police presence on subways is a deterrent.
If anyone's thinking of coming into the subway system with a weapon, there's probably a good chance they're going to get caught.
Civil liberties groups here in New York City have called the governor's plan overreach and
Jesus Christ.
overreaction. Meanwhile,
So violent crime across the board in our subway systems and where public transportation is important in order to keep the nation running, especially in the largest cities in America. And we always have some advocacy group that calls it overreaching and misunderstanding. I don't understand these advocacy groups. They so confusing to me. It seems like advocacy should be based around what's best for the general public. Now, why wouldn't you want more police officers? Why wouldn't you want a stronger presence, not just to report and address what's going on with it when it comes to the criminal justice system, but also to deter what's happening in the criminal justice system? When I see police officers, I thank them. I love seeing police officers. I love seeing a stronger police presence around me because it means that I know for a fact that people have to think twice before they do something, that they're not supposed to be doing. Because it's going to be much more difficult for you to be able to get away, and we not having that. I love it. Listen, police officers pull up on me all the time. When I'm walking in the streets of Detroit, I'm going to just keep my vlog camera on, and I'm going to let you see what happens. Yo, Anton, hey, man, keep doing what you're doing. We love what you got going on. When I go to the Pistons games, anybody that had never seen me at a Pistons game or you see me vlog, every single police officer, we give dap, we give hugs, we give play, we kick it. I know their names. They know my name. Even where I live at, out in the suburbs, right? Police officers is cool. Hey, man, what's going on, Anton? What's going on over here? They know my cars. They know my family. They know my daughter. They know exactly what's going on, when it's happening, and why it's going to happen. That's a blessing for me. Why would you advocate against something like this?
The NYPD reminds people millions of people take this system every day without incident. They do say it is worth taking their long-standing advice on how to stay safe, watch your things, and at least lower the volume on those headsets that you wear or take them out entirely, Hoda.
Yeah. All right, Steph Goss, thank you so much. We take the subway a lot.
Almost every day.
Fastest way to get around New York. I'm glad there's extra protection down there.
Yes, absolutely.
Hey, so let me pivot for a minute, because I believe that they went out and they found out what the people felt about the National Guard now patrolling the subway system in New York City.
But first tonight, Grand Central Terminal swarming with New York State troopers and members of the National Guard. It's part of Governor Hochul's new push to battle crime on the subways. Eyewitness News reporter Stephon Kim has details, including why the extra law enforcement is making some riders nervous.
At Grand Central Terminal tonight, during the thick of the evening rush, there was rhythm and blues in the background, drowned out by the relentless sound of the Metro card swipe. But in the foreground, there were M16s, part of the governor's 5-part plan announced today aimed at combating subway crime. 750 National Guard soldiers, 250 state troopers and MTA police, just open your bag really quick, and more random bag checks.
To those who are feeling anxious whenever they walk through those turnstiles, we will stop at nothing to keep you safe.
Some riders, though, not sure if it'll have the intended effect.
Wow, I didn't think it was at the point of National Guard needed.
More nervous because I feel like it's more of a threat happening versus just the police. So I don't think the National Guard would be a good idea.
Concerned.
You see what black people do? Honestly, you see what black people, they've been conditioned to think a certain way. So she gets more nervous because there's more security because of the optics, not because of the actual real safety that comes along with it. Did you hear this? Listen. She said, look, because it makes me feel like, when I correct people when they're having these debates with me and I say, hey, listen. You don't want to say feel. That's a female thing. They get mad at me. What do you mean? Don't tell me what to feel. I feel like. And then these guys get sassy with me and they double down on it just because they don't like being corrected. And I'm cool with that. It's just the way that it is. But she says she feels like it seems like it's more of a threat. And so it's not good for optics. So they should remove them. So it's not necessarily about the safety of the people until it happens to you. Because then if and when it happens to you, when you get your head kicked in, then they're going to say, where was all of the police officers? Why aren't we doing more in order to deter crime? What is going on? Nobody cares until you're the one that's getting slapped in the face. Then you're going to want to know what the heck is going on with the police officers. Okay.
Harkening back to like 9/11.
Feels like a huge...
What did she say? What is the next person saying? Let me see what they're saying.
Take harkening back to like 9/11.
Feels like huge overreaction and overreach.
Donna Lieberman is the executive director of the NY.
Feels like a huge overreaction and overreach. Okay.
CLU.
Calling out the National Guard in response to some incidents is not the way to go.
Stefan, they have this in Europe?
because of the terrorism threat in Europe, and no one seems to mind. You can get used to a lot of things.
Former NYPD Chief of Detectives and ABC News analyst Bob Boy says the larger issue is recidivism and mental health.
They need to be taken off and taken to a psychiatrist so they can get help. And there needs to be a plan after that to keep them into treatment.
The governor's plan calls for more resources for mental health outreach teams targeting the mentally ill.
So if somebody slap you in a subway, I just want to make sure that we all clear. If somebody slaps you in a subway, it's important for us to address the mental health of that person. Hey, let's deploy a mental health team. Hey, excuse me, sir. Are you feeling anxious? Are you feeling secure within yourself? It's important for us to be able to address your issues. I'm sorry. Give me your name, and I want to make sure that you get the proper treatment for why it is that you slapped the back of that person's head and pushed them over on the train tracks. Jesus Christ. Y'all know therapy is already a scam?
It also focuses on repeat offenders. Governor Hochul wants judges to be able to ban someone from the transit system for at least 3 years if they've been convicted of a violent crime.
Yeah, listen, we not going to let you walk down into the transit system and scan your card that we have no idea of identifying whether or not you actually banned from the system or not. Yeah, that sounds like it works.
Who they are. They'll flag the criminal history at the time of arrest so it can be fully considered when decisions regarding charging and bail are made.
Why? Listen, man, listen to these fools. Are y'all listening to y'all politicians?
We arresting people 100 times, and once we make the arrest, why are they back out within a day or two sometimes?
Experts say the deployment of National Guard is not sustainable long term, likely only a few months, just in time to make riders feel safe when congestion pricing goes into effect.
This is insane. It's absolutely insane. Let me read some of the super chats, and then we're going to get over with the rest of the show because we got a couple more things that we want to address. I definitely want to bring something to Fi Brown's radar. Yeah, Fi like, man, why is Anton keep saying me and picking on me? Oh, no. Dame Dash, he's back in the news. And I just want to give y'all a little bit of an insight of what was going on with Dame Dash, but we're going to get to that in a second. Give me about 10, 12 minutes. We'll get to that because I'm definitely going to break that down all the way down on After Hours where y'all will be able to call and get y'all big mad energy off. But let me read some of these super chats. Shout out to Time Out for the 10 ball. I appreciate you, Time Out, for holding me down. Antonio Watkins says, I can't share this stream with my AKA auntie. Share it with her. Share it with her. And tell her, listen, release the devil. Keith Woodson hit us with a button. Let me hit Keith with this. Keith says, being a federal employee, I can't vote for Trump. Interesting. Let's see what else he says. He goes on to say, Trump's policies are detrimental to the Fed. Then he says, Fed workforce to the federal workforce, federal morale was at an all-time low. Oh, the morale of the workers is at a low. Interesting. He goes on to say, during his previous administration, he's spending $250 for every one of these. Then during his previous administration, shout out to NY. No, I'm sorry, that's a whole nother person. Hold on. He says, also, I don't want Trump to be able to appoint any more Supreme Court justices. Wow, that's pretty impressive, Keith Woodson. Listen, I appreciate you for continuing to hold us down. Thank you, my friend. Rose says, shout out to NY for taking action in the subway. Also hear such negative things is happening in NY subways. That's because crime is up down there. Leland Brown is in the building. Look like a bunch of Chi-Town kids committing these crimes. I recommended a change in laws equating the crimes of the child to the non-governance of the parent over the child and convict them both. I feel you, big dog. Prince Elian comes on and says, I apologize. I'm laughing at how the NY government and voters are creating the problem, and now they're bringing in the military and martial law to clean it up. I wonder what cost that is. What cost is that to the state, the taxpayers, or something like that? We need to do a little bit of research on that. Anyways, let's go over into the migrant crisis. So there's now being reported now being reported that 357,000 migrants have been flown in as a part of a push allegedly by a specific administration. Let's break it down and see what the people are saying. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. We're going to get through this real quick.
Now, a controversial Biden administration program is flying tens of thousands of migrants into the U.S. every month, and we're not quite sure where they're going. Alexis McAdams joins us with that part of the story today. Alexis, good morning.
Bill, good morning. This is a wild story a lot of people are talking about. It's not just migrants, as we talk about, flooding into the United States on foot pretty much every day, but they're also arriving at airports across the country. And the Biden administration has flown more than 350,000 migrants into the country using a controversial program to grant them humanitarian parole.
But today it was just announced before I came out. It was unbelievable. I said, that must be a mistake. They flew 325,000 migrants, flew them in over the borders into our country.
And as a hot topic on the campaign trail, Customs and Border Patrol data showing that 357,000 migrants have been flown into the U.S. from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela. That's just through the end of January. It's all part of a special program called the CHNV Parole Program that grants migrants 2 years of humanitarian parole. So the CBP denied a FOIA request to name the airports where the migrants arrived. That was filed by the Center for Immigration Studies. They told them, in part, if disclosed, it would reveal operational vulnerabilities that could be exploited by bad actors. So no answer on where these people were going. While we see massive groups of migrants crossing illegally at the southern border every day, the migrants in this CHNV program are able to apply for asylum. How? Well, they use a cell phone app to do it. There are strict eligibility requirements, though, for this program, including having a supporter in the United States, undergoing security vetting, and then once the 2 years are up, they must apply for renewal or leave the country. So we'll see how that plays out. Republicans arguing that the migrants using Biden's parole program will end up staying here illegally, and several GOP states have already sued the Biden administration over the legality of this program. We're still waiting on a ruling on that.
More to come on this. Alexis, thank you here in studio. Dana.
Want to bring in the Texas Department of Public Safety, Lieutenant Chris Olivares, and let's just look here. The Border Patrol encounters between ports of entry of non-U.S. citizens in the Biden administration fiscal years. You can just see it. It goes up and up and up. And during the Trump administration fiscal years, the numbers are like very starkly different. What else are you seeing right now? And I understand you saw some drug smuggling happening right at the border.
Hold on. Before we get into that, what? Wait. 357,000 migrants flown in under a special parole program. What? Now, look. I heard Trump mention this in his speech yesterday when obviously, you know, the Super Tuesday, and then we had the parole. I mean, not the parole, but the Supreme Court had voted 9-0 to make sure that he could still stay on the ballots and everything like that. Why would we be funding over 357,000 migrants privately being flown into, amongst multiple different airports, the United States of America? Why would we be funding that? Hold on. I just got it. Give me a second. 357. Okay, migrants. 357,000 migrants have been flown into the U.S. under the Biden administration parole program. I don't understand this, though. Why? What is the benefit to the United States of America? Replay the countries? All right, so let me go back to the countries. $74,000 Cubans, 138,000 Haitians, 58,000 Nicaraguans, and 86,000 Venezuelans. Did y'all know about this? Did anybody else know about this? Or is we just now finding out after it's too late? And why will we be funding this? Why do y'all think that this is okay? Did anybody else find out about this, or are we just all finding out about this for the first time? Yesterday and today. 357. Okay, all right. So we knew about what was happening in Florida. We know how a lot of the money is being able to flow into the country. What's the point of having secure borders when they can fly right over the border and they don't even have to have any kind of checks in the first place? Yes, I agree, CivLab. 350,000 people is a lot of people. That's not like 350 people, oh man, we got one flight, a whole bunch of people, or a couple flights, a whole bunch of people is on these flights, whatever, jumbo 747 or whatever. This is a like people flying in and out, like whole program that's set up. Whoa, does this scare y'all, honestly? Are y'all scared? Because they don't communicate this stuff. These people work for us. They work for us. 357,000 people. Y'all know how many people that is? Jesus Christ. I mean, we just skipping over that like that's not a big deal, but I'm just saying that's a thing. That's a real thing. Hold on. Let me do a little bit more reading. Give me a second. This is crazy. I got to do some digging. I got to start doing some research, y'all. I'll come back to y'all. We might talk about this tomorrow. Let me do a little bit of research on this.
Right, Dennis. So good morning. Of course, great to be with you. And of course, talking about these flights, there's a lot of unanswered questions. Of course, this has been happening for the last 3 years. I believe, Fox News actually broke that news when there were secret flights at the dead of night that were transporting illegal immigrants throughout the country.
So this has been happening for years. He said out of his own mouth, Lieutenant Chris Alvarez, the Texas Department of Public Safety, said, listen, man, this is just now starting to become visible. This has been happening for years, which means that it's probably way more than 357,000 people.
And of course, this has been going on, not just, flying and busing illegal immigrants into the country, but of course, there was a lot of criticism when Governor Abbott started busing illegal immigrants to these sanctuary cities. But one thing it did do was it shed light on the problem, and it forced the issue. It forced some of these governors, some of these mayors, some of these sanctuary cities to actually talk about the issue, actually force the federal government to actually do something. So a lot of unanswered questions as far as who's coming into the country on these flights.
So if it wasn't a big deal, then why is it a secret, and why are they flying them in at night? If it's only for asylum, then why is it a secret, and why are they flying them in at night? And what are they specifically seeking asylum from?
Of course, we talk about the public safety, national security threats, the drugs, the criminals, suspected terrorists. I mean, that is still happening. That is a reality of the current situation on the border. We've been experiencing it for the last 3 years. And still right now, today, those are some of the issues that we're still facing in Texas.
Tell me about some of these pictures that you had about drug smugglers there at the border.
So there's always been this argument or this dispute that drugs, only come across, through the ports of entry and vehicles and so
Look
forth.
at that.
But a lot of these drugs are being smuggled between the ports of entry. We know that for a fact. Our state troopers in the last 3 years, because of Governor Abbott's decisive action on the border and through Operation Lone Star, have seized over 468 million lethal doses of fentanyl. These are drugs that have made it past ports of entry, have made it past secondary checkpoints, and if not for our troopers stopping these cars and seizing these drugs, they will make it further into the interior. So a lot of these drug smugglers, the cartels, they're well aware of the vulnerabilities along the border, and they exploit that not only at the ports of entry, but between the ports of entry. We have drug smugglers that are backpacking drugs between those ports of entry.
How do your troopers deal with the back and forth between the federal government and the state of Texas as they struggle back and forth in the courts trying to get to a final resolution?
You know, Dana, that's been a challenge for the last 3 years. You know, everything that we've been doing, our efforts in Texas, and of course, you're well aware of that. There's always been this constant battle. Not only that we're having to battle and go against the criminal organizations, the cartels and the smugglers and the criminals, but our own federal government that's trying to stop us in our efforts. I mean, they've been trying to stop Governor Abbott for the last 3 years, whether it's physical barriers, whether it's enforcing the laws, and most recently with SB4, which is a new law that will allow Texas law enforcement to arrest illegal immigrants that cross between the border of entry. There's these constant challenges, and we're trying to do our efforts as trying to secure the border, protect our state, and protect the country. But one thing I can tell you, though, that we have a tremendous workforce. Our troopers are doing a tremendous job working with the soldiers, working with Border Patrol, and we're focusing on going after those criminals, focusing on the threats to public safety, national security. We're seeing all this crime that's taking place in these cities throughout the state. You know, with some of these illegal immigrants that have no reason to be in the country, but it's all because of the abuse of the parole system.
Understood.
That's why we need some consequences. We need some consequences. That's what we're going to do moving forward.
Consequences.
That's crazy, man. This is insane. Jesus Christ. Every time that I read a different story or I hear a different story or I find out a new detail, it's almost like, man, maybe I should have took the blue pill. Because the more ignorant that we are, the easier it is for us to just complain about things that don't really matter and is not relevant, and we can act like our lives is important when it's other agendas that's really happening right under our nose. Read a couple of super chats, and then I'm going to go to the last thing because I want to talk about Dame Dash real quick before I address it in its entirety on the After Hours platform tonight. Keith Woodson says, I get value out of what you're saying on the MMS and After Hours. Be blessed. I'm grateful that I found your channels last year. Hey, can we get a round of applause for everybody that's just discovering who we are this year? If y'all not a part of the Patreon and the Bag Chasers, the link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. We doing some phenomenal things over here. This is the greatest news show on the face of the earth because we got a whole nother wave and a whole nother vibe over here. Executive Suite Emily says people have been getting pow and train conductors slashed on the train. National Guard is needed. A little girl was pow-powed on the train in broad daylight. And I know you know because you out there. You out there. Shout out to all of my New York people that I met up with and that I linked up with. Ken J says it's called humanitarian parole and it's not what you think. Cap. It's exactly what I think. I just ain't told you what I really think. JP says this has been happening for years. I have family members who now have families and businesses with people that were illegal. The East Coast is the OG hub. Okay, all right. I hear you. Let's move over into this last part, a little bit more entertaining. But I seen Steve Stoute. I seen a clip going around of Steve Stoute sitting with Shannon Sharp talking specifically about why Dame Dash is no longer the guy that you work with in any capacity and how he continues to burn bridges. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's get it rocking.
Even the Damon Dash interview, as fucked up as that was, he's a gigantic, almost not. He blew it. He had Jay-Z. He had the most important artist of his generation.
So what happened with that relationship? How did that relationship that was so good sour so fast?
Dame's antics were just, it became like people also, over time, you mature. Right. It's like you didn't have friends at 16, but by the time you turned 19, they were still doing the same shit that you was 16, and you're like, I can't. Like, we gotta, you know, you start spending less and less time with them because of it. It's like one of those things where Dame.
Yo, Fi, you still riding in the same camp, or have you changed your perspective towards this thing?
Didn't change the way he spoke to people, the way he treated people. He was angry.
About what? Bro, you getting paper.
He was angry because he had a strong perspective about his business philosophy. And if any time a partner of theirs tried to like go around him or, meanwhile, people weren't going around him. The people around him wanted to meet with other people.
Right.
People were becoming less beholden to him, but he was unaware of it. Then he would while he was building businesses, which partly he would go off all around the world with cameras and girls and all kinds of crazy shit, and then come back flipping out on everybody as if,
they were wrong.
Yeah. Or like, why'd you guys do all this shit without me? Like, bro, you didn't build a business that was so operationally tight that you could just go away and come back and shit be the same and all that shit. It wasn't even like that. Jay grew up. Jay wanted more. I think Jay seen Dame's ceiling.
Let's stop there for a minute. Think so, Brittany? Brittany says Jay-Z was dirty. That's why. Really? You think so, huh? Okay, cool. So when there's a pattern, this is what I've learned. When there's a pattern, when every single person around you say, nah, I don't mess with that dude, or nah, I can't do no business with that dude, or you know what, I'ma just not say nothing. Because let's be clear, Jay haven't said anything about Dame. Jay has not done one interview where he speaks about Dame. Meanwhile, Dame has done hundreds of clips and interviews where he's always speaking about what's wrong with everybody else. It's everybody else's fault. It's the system's fault. It's Currency's fault. It's Big Crit's fault. It's Stolly's fault. It's Jay-Z's fault. It's Lear Cohen's fault. It's Vlad's fault. It's who else is he named right off the top of our head? It's Charlemagne's fault. It's Steve Stoute's fault. It's every single, I have never seen not one time Dame say, you know what? I might have been a little bit off on that. Or, man, I fumbled a bag on that one. You don't own people. That's what he found out with Jay. What Jay wound up saying is, okay, if you made me, then make another me if you that great. If you made me, then make it. Look, I knew Black is Back was going to show up. Make sure you show up for after hours tonight. If you made me, then make another me. Listen, how come every single person that you didn't ever work with say, I don't really mess with you no more. And listen, sometimes, and I say this all the time, you just grow in two different directions. So am I obligated to make sure that you make money for the rest of your life? Or can we have made money? It was a time in history where we got to the bag and we created this great thing. It's ran its course, and now we moving over into a different thing. Am I always responsible for you to be okay for the rest of your life? Grown men complaining about other grown men for their entire life. Now, let's be clear. We've all seen the meetings. We've all seen the videos of him walking in and spazzing out and going off on people and saying this and saying that. We all familiar with the different stories about how he made Cam president of Rockefeller while Jay-Z was out of town and all of this. We've seen all of this. We've seen it over and over again. You know the one thing that I don't rock with? I don't rock with victims. I don't rock with victims. If you always the person that's complaining about why somebody else ain't do something for you, I don't rock with victims because it flies once or twice. And then you could be validated sometimes. Hey, man, this person, I gave them some money. They didn't pay me back. Okay, I feel you. That person is dirty. Everybody, though. Everybody you done ever ran into, every single person is bad. Every single person. Listen, if you the type of person that think like that, just stay far away from me. If you're the type of person that thinks that everybody is bad and everybody owe you something and you never, ever, ever take responsibility for anything that you do, but everybody that just keep on winning, they just be like, man, we ain't even going to pay no attention. We ain't even going to say nothing. Every single person that you'd have never kicked it with. He said it. He said, listen, man, Jay wanted to do bigger and better things, and he seen Dame ceiling. I can't continue to rock with anything that you're doing. I wonder how much money Jay owe Dame. Oh, nothing? Don't nobody owe nobody no money. So everybody got money and everybody chilling. Okay, cool. Let me see if he's saying anything else, because I'm going to save this for after hours. I don't want to deep dive. I have not seen this yet. I seen a small little clip on Instagram. I said, oh, I didn't know Steve Stoute was talking that. I actually read Steve Stoute's book. I got it in the other room. It's called The Tanning of America.
And I think that's really what it was. I mean, Jay seen Dame's ceiling.
You can't fault a man for wanting to get better.
Yeah, he wanted more, and everybody wanted more. Dame just had a very particular way of approaching it. He's far from stupid.
Right.
Very, very smart.
Right.
Very talented. Ego through the roof. Through the roof. So there was no working with him.
Right.
No one wanted to work with him. There was no work. Yeah, as much talent as he has, nobody wanted to work with him.
People got to want to work with him.
Jimmy Iovine had this line, when the shit gets bigger than the cat, you got to get rid of the cat.
Right. Were you cool with Jay-Z and Nas when they had their beef?
Yeah.
So how did you stay Switzerland and stay neutral?
All right, I don't want to go into that. I just wanted to see what it is that he said about Dame, and I wanted to get it in its full context. But we'll get to that. We're going to talk about it on After Hours tonight. We're going to deep dive into it. So if you know he's smart, why question his business acumen? Because just because you're smart don't mean that you make good business decisions. That's why they say A and B students work for C students. Come on, man. Y'all barking up the wrong tree today. I got time tonight. Listen, man. You have to grow up. You cannot still be the same person that you was when you're 20, when you're 30, when you're 40, when you're 50. Everybody don't want to be. No. I'm going to dig into a couple more. I seen some other clips, Bob Brown. So I'm going to dig into it a little bit more on After Hours tonight. Make sure y'all tap in, because I think it's going to be a phenomenal show. You have to evolve past where you are in order to grow into the person that you're supposed to become. I run into people. You know what's so funny? I run into people all the time, whether it be from high school or college or back when I used to work with this particular person, and I run into them and they be like, hey, man, remember when we was this? Or, oh, dog, do you still rap? That's what they ask me. Hey, man, do you still rap? No, I don't. Oh, man, well, remember when we was running around with it? And I'll be thinking to myself, I was trying to forget that. You know what I'm saying? We wasn't supposed to be doing that. Yeah, it was interesting times back then. And it's funny to hear people talk from the past a lot of times that's already reached their peak, and they never gonna go any further than where they are, because people that are getting money and that's busy want to talk about the future. And this is just the honest to God truth. People that's getting money and that's busy and running it up, they want to talk about the possibilities. They want to talk about the future. They want to talk about things that's going to come and go forward. They want to look at the opportunities. And people that's already reached their peak, they want to talk about what y'all did in the past. And I used to see those type of people when I was growing up. I would see them at the gas station, just people in general. And, I would see them at the liquor store when we would walk to the liquor store and stuff like that. And they'd be like, oh, man, back in my day, we was this and that. Man, I don't care nothing about back in your day. When I see people that see me, oh man, Ton, yo, what up? What's going on, man? What up, fam? Seen a guy that pulled up to me when I was in traffic the other day. Hey man, what's going on? And I didn't recognize who he was. And he was like, hey man, I went to school with you. And I was like, oh, that's what's up. Yeah, man, I see you winning. I see you doing your thing. Remember when we was in high school and we was doing this? I'm like, yeah. Like, so what you got going on right now? Oh, nothing. You don't want to talk about the future? You don't want to talk about possibilities? I rolled my window down. I thought we was going to exchange some information so we can go and get some money going forward. Man, don't you realize that we graduated 24 years ago? We graduated 24 years ago. In 2000. June of 2000, we crossed the stage. The minute that I crossed the stage when I graduated, I was like, I'm out of here. I'm on to bigger and better things. Hey, man, let's go get this money. Man, I don't care. I don't care about high school. Was a great time for me. I had a ball. but that was in high school. You know what I'm saying? College was a fun time for me, but that was 2.5 decades ago. Ah, man, remember when we was on the blog? Bro, I ain't rapped in like 2 decades. Man, I don't write rhymes. I write checks. I wouldn't rap if I still knew how to rap. If I still remembered any of the rhymes that I had in the notebook, I still wouldn't do it. You know why? Because even if I did do it, if I got involved in the business, I would want to be the one that's on the back end, that's not in front of the camera. I would want to just use my influence in order to continue to promote people and write the checks. I don't want to do what I was doing. And that's why I understood when Jay was like, listen, if you want the old me, go listen to my old stuff. I'm in a whole nother lane. I'm doing a whole nother thing. I'm in a whole nother. I don't want to do the same stuff that I did in yesteryear. Man, listen, I don't even go to reunions. Honestly, I don't go to reunions. They watch me every day on the Millionaire Morning Show. I don't need to go and see what you're doing. You already know what you know. Listen, why would I go to a reunion and you know everything about my life already? You already got the update. You already got the update. What do you need to know? What else? You got my whole life is online. You know what I'm talking about tomorrow. You know what I'm talking about today. You got the update on me. Why do I need to? You want me to sit there and reminisce about the past? Man, let's go get some money tomorrow. And so I'm always amazed at people that they stuck. They are stuck in a space. And it's like, I love my people from school. Shout out to my cast technicians. Shout out to all of my dogs. Shout out to the people from the hood. Shout out to people, the Sconies, all of the 8 Mile Sconies and all of that. Shout out to the 7 Mile Bloods and, you know, all of those people and all of that stuff. But man, if we're not buying up the neighborhood to tear down the houses that's dilapidated in order to build up the community, then what the heck we got? What are we talking about? You can look me up. I got the most recent videos up online. And so when I see people still stuck in the same way of thinking, I realize that it's not that they maybe be a bad person, but it's time for me to evolve. Man, listen, it's people on the internet. It's people on YouTube. And I'm going to wrap this up because I got a meeting that I got to go into in a couple minutes. It's people on YouTube that I used to, have a channel with and stuff like that. We talked on the phone. Hey, man, listen, congratulations. Do your thing. Listen, I don't agree with you with the way that you did. And this is what I said. I don't agree with the way that you did business, but I just don't have time to continue to chase this down. I don't really care that much. I'm going in this whole nother direction. Let me focus on what I got going on over there. Do your thing. I'm not about to talk about their personal business or reminisce about the past. People be asking me about different platforms that I was a part of. We made history. We did great things. I don't like the way that the business shook out. I decided, listen, I'm going to walk away and watch me do my thing. I've continued to grow and blossom. I ain't worried about what they got going on over there no more. I'm doing my own thing. God bless you. We did some great things. We ran up a check. We made a lot of money at the time. We didn't agree on the direction that we was going forward. And so I decided that I wanted to continue to expand my brand beyond there. Now, listen, I know that y'all still trying to find another Anton. God bless you. God bless you. I ain't got time for that. I don't agree, but I'm not going to sit here and keep talking about stuff that we did in the past. I'm keeping it moving. I'm in a whole nother lane, man. We running it up. Shout out to the content creators that continue to grow beyond where they was. I'm not about to sit here and keep talking about, hey, man, Anton, you going to ever go over there and fix this? No. I'm not. Dang, homie. In high school, you was the man, homie. What the F happened to you? CivLap says Dame Dash is his own worst enemy, and I could not agree with you more. That is the absolute positive truth. And if y'all was able to make me, because they said that that's what made me, then make another me. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Phenomenal show. Phenomenal show. The greatest show on earth. I need y'all to do me one more favor before we get up out of here. Make sure you share this with your family and friends. We don't want to be successful by ourselves. I love you. I appreciate you. You guys are the greatest friends on earth. All right? Make sure y'all tune in to After Hours tonight. We getting it in. We getting it popping. I love y'all. I'm going to talk to y'all later. Peace.